And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100% agree. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
All I can say is, boom, out go the lights. Houston was on fire tonight. The fireworks were starting a month and a half early with the UFC. There was some spectacular fights. We're going to talk about that. We also have the one championship with the heavyweight title changing hands. A lot of things that are on the future that we're going to get after. What's up, Joshua Thompson? You're not looking too happy.
No. Not that I'm not happy. I think it was, I thought there were some big fights. There were some different results that we had thought, or at least I had thought anyways. And the fights were still good though. You know, the fights were still really good. And it was eye-opening, I think. There was a lot of things that I saw tonight, with some of the UFC fights that I wasn't expecting to see. And then there was, and obviously the fall of Brandon Vera. That was another thing I didn't really expect to see, not at the way that it happened. So, I guess let's get into one real quick, though.
Okay. Arjun looked good.
Think?
I hate to say it, but I'm just going to say it the way that, look, I love Brandon Vera. He's a great guy, 43 years of age, living where he's living. Like I said, he's a rock star there. I just don't think he's putting in the time to being a fighter anymore the way he did in the past. And at 43, he's just slowed down. He wasn't the better fighter anywhere. That's just the way it is. And when that happens, when you're in that position that you were this guy that was this great striker, you had a good ground game, and you're not winning in any of those categories, that's not a good thing. You got to figure he lost the light heavyweight title to Long Song, and now he just lost the heavyweight title to Arjun, and he's just not fighting at that level that he was once fighting at. And I don't know if it's based upon just age or the skills start to go, the speed starts to go, everything starts to change, man. It's tough when Father Time is beating on the door. It's hard to keep him away, and very few people have been able to do that. He's got the style that is one of the ones that's hard to keep things going. He didn't have that controlling style. He had the explosive style, big time with the strikes and everything, and just ran into a guy that just, Arjun looked good. His stand-up actually looked good. His takedowns were great. And when he was on top, he was heavy and he was not going anywhere. And he fought a great fight, and he deserves to be the champ.
Yeah, I don't want to take anything away from Arjun. He's a good guy, good person, good wrestler. He's got a good pace. But I just saw somebody with Brandon Vera, I saw a couple things. One is the technique has not gotten any better since he was, making his rise up to get to the title. He has slowed down, obviously, but I kind of feel like life kind of gets in the way a little bit as you start to get a little bit more, like you start to get a little older and things start happening for you, money's coming in, whatever it is. Other things start taking a little bit more of the priorities, and it just feels like, and I think a little bit of it came with the age. So there's the age mixed with more responsibilities or more things outside of the realm of fighting. And you can't just jump in, especially now at the level that he was at, or at the level you want to be at to be a champion. You can't only train when you have a fight. You have to always be getting better. Yep. And I didn't see that in this fight or in his last fight when he lost his light heavyweight title also. So I didn't see that. And so I think that was a big portion, a big part of it anyways. But with Arjun, good stuff, good pressure, good heavy on top, and did the work. I mean, there's not much you can ask for, and I believe, is he the very first Indian champ in any organization?
That I know of, yeah. Unless you're talking about Super Fight League that was in India. If they had a champion there might have been someone, but outside of that, in a major promotion, I would think that, yeah, he is.
Got it. Yeah, I would think so too. For sure, probably a heavyweight. For sure, the first heavyweight Indian.
Probably.
But yeah, but I thought overall he fought a good fight, very well calculated, and Brandon's got to rethink what he's going to be doing. If he's going to continue to fight. 43 years old. I mean, you can get away with it in the heavyweight division for a little while. We've seen other heavyweights go, carry on for a while, into their 40s. So you can get away with it. It's a matter of if he's going to rededicate himself to make sure that he's getting better, or if he's just going to keep doing what he's doing. So who knows? We'll see. The future will hold something for him. So maybe retirement, maybe not. We'll see.
We will. It's always sad to see someone when you're watching them, exactly how good they were, and you're just not seeing. We kind of saw that tonight. You're just not seeing the same guy. He can't get himself out of the same problems. He survives the round, and then you think, okay, he understands. Right back to it in the next round. It's just the way it is. Father Time. I hate him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the UFC. Let's talk about the UFC. There was some great fights on that card. There was a couple that I was so impressed with Shane Burgos and Edson Barboza. I was jumping out of my seat. I was standing there watching it. It was so good. So many just beautiful technique, by Barboza at times. His technique just amazes me at times, how tight it is. It's so good. And then he was getting tagged by Burgos. Burgos was landing some big shots, and he was hurt, and he was hurt to the body early, and there was all kinds of things going on. And then you had that crazy, I had one similar to it long ago, but crazy third round. He gets hit with a left, right. That right just was huge and looked like, he ate it, and he starts coming back, and all of a sudden he's doing the wobbles, and he's stumbling back, and he's going out. And it can happen. The body does weird things at times, and just a fantastic effort by both fighters.
Yeah, I thought it was a good fight. You were texting. I think you had texted me during that, and
I did. You didn't answer me, so I'm never ever answering a text of yours again. Just so you know.
I thought it was one-sided though. I thought Edson Barboza was winning the exchanges and almost throughout the whole fight.
No.
I thought he was always a step
No, yes. Negative.
If I look at every round,
absolutely not. You go to the second round. Shane Burgos won that round. He won the round. Edson Barboza won the first round. Burgos won the second round. I don't know what you're watching. Yeah,
I don't think so. Well, wait, maybe I'll have to go back and watch it again.
Yep,
we'll see. But I mean, I had Barboza winning both rounds.
Yep. Well, then you had him winning all three rounds.
Whoa. But I was kind of weirded out by the way that Shane Burgos had. There was like that lag and that delay between him and his body stumbling backwards and then, hitting the ground. I've seen that delay for a second, but that seemed pretty long to me.
Yeah.
And then he was still kind of on his feet, and then he kind of like started stumbling back. It was really weird for me to watch, to see how it went down. And I'm assuming you've seen this several times.
I had one that was very similar. It was a guy got hit with a head kick, and he looked at his opponent and just shook his head like, no, that didn't hurt me. And all of a sudden, about a second and a half later, he just falls down, And it was like, it's just a delayed reaction. His body all of a sudden just started shutting down. And I've seen it happen, and it happened here. What the big thing is, unless something happens in the UFC, people are like, I've never seen that before. Well, there's fights all over, and these things can happen. And so, yeah, I've seen things like this. It's similar, but it's a strange reaction, and it does make it to where you have a concern about what's wrong with him, because that's not normal, and it's not normal, but it's just his body. It took a moment of time for his body to all of a sudden go up. We're a little bit disconnected. Up, we're going down. Up, we're out, and it happens. This is where you get into the old realm with doctors. It used to be I would ask them, okay, doc. So, and we didn't know this until MMA, because if you asked a doctor back in the early days, all right, a guy gets hit and he goes out, if he gets hit again, what's going to happen? They're going to say it's just going to intensify the concussion and the knockout. And sometimes it does. And if you asked him, would it be that, if he gets hit and they go out, if they get hit again, can that knock them back in? No, that will not happen. Well, guess what? We learned, yes, it can. Okay. And it happens all the time. And it's, the human body is an amazing thing, but there's things that, can happen during a fight that even doctors look, oh, that'll never happen. Oh, yes, it will. So this is just one of those instances.
What other fights on that undercard did you like? The Lando Venata fight was good. Jordan Wright came out.
Love the Lando Venata fight.
Yes. So,
but the disgusting one was Andre Muniz versus Jacare. I heard thing. I didn't see it. I heard when it was live. I heard it. I go, oh, his arm broke. And right away, Jacob Montalvo's coming in. Great job by Jacob Montalvo. He not only saw it, he heard it, and he comes in right away and stops the fight. And that's exactly what we tell the fighters in the back. Look, we will let you work your way out of any submission there is. Okay. But if we see any damage being, we see a dislocation, we see a break, look, the fight's over. You have lost. Don't let it get to that. And, in that situation, that was a little bit weird because Jacare's arm kind of got stuck underneath. You saw it where it was pinned as he was coming up and then right into the arm lock, and there was a lot of weight on it. So just happens.
Yeah, I was surprised that the commentators didn't catch it, like right off the bat. They had to actually go back and watch the replay.
Yeah,
I was like, it was pretty. I saw the whole shoulder and the whole body shift.
Yeah. You saw it immediately.
Yeah, but was it a broken forearm? Was it or dislocated shoulder? What was it? We haven't figured that out.
I don't,
because
someone said it was his upper arm being the humerus. I don't think so. It could be just based upon the pressure of where it's at, but it really, normally that's usually towards the forearm that'll break because that's where that pressure is put on. It's hard to put pressure on the upper arm. The upper arm, normally if we see a break in the upper arm, it's due to a kimura. We see a kimura and that kimura is getting bent over and we get what's called a rotational break. A spiral, and it's nasty. That's happened to like Nogueira. Frank Mir broke Nogueira's arm with a kimura spiral on the humerus, but I would believe that it was his forearm that broke.
Yeah, I couldn't tell whether if it pulled or dislocated his shoulder out, or if it was something that broke. But it sounded like it broke.
Oh, it broke. There's no doubt you can hear it.
It sounded like something broke
when it was live. As soon as I heard it, I go, "Oh, his arm broke." You could hear it. It's a sound. When you hear that sound, you recognize it. I felt really bad for him, man. It's it's kind of like the Chris Weidman kick and stuff. That happens. It's like, oh shit. But he'll be all right.
Especially right now. But at that age, I think he's retired.
Probably.
It's gonna take. For something like that, they may have to put a plate in.
Oh, they're gonna have to put a plate in.
Yeah, so something like that, you have to put a plate in, and then now every time you take a kick or a punch to that plate, and not just to be honest, watching that fight, you could just see how much slower Jacare has been, like his punches and the way things were coming out, it looked very stiff and very slow, and I think like fighters like we had this conversation about, Tony before, and even other guys, whether whoever it was, they've got to be real with themselves and look at how they are fighting, when they're in there. So when you go back and watch this fight, just knowing that you're not as fast as you were, and now you're fighting younger kids, that are obviously at the peak of their game, or coming up as the peak of their game. They're motivated. Yeah. Their confidence level is really high. Whereas with you at being 41 years old, he's got to be thinking, the UFC's probably got to be thinking too, you're a guy that's one of the best jiu-jitsu guys ever to walk the face of the earth, and you just got submitted by a younger kid. And that shouldn't have happened. So, and now you've broken your arm and you're going to be out for, say, 8 months, 6 to 8 months, and having you back for what, So I think they're going to start reevaluating that. We've seen that with what they've been doing lately is kind of separating themselves from the older talent.
Yeah. You got to figure he was coming off of a loss with Kevin Holland, a knockout. Mm-hmm. It was, a big time knockout actually from Kevin Holland's back. So I don't know. I just look at it and it was a very nice win by Andre. Take nothing away from it, but it's sad to see a fighter like Jacare, get hurt like that. But that's part of what fighting is. That's why you can play basketball, you can play baseball, you don't play fighting. It's serious.
Yeah. What did you think of the Andre Leah fight?
I loved it. I thought, there was moments for both. I thought Antonina was sharper on the feet for a lot of it. She was using her length and stuff. And when Andre Lee in the second round got that fight to the ground, and I thought Andre Lee actually came back in the first round. She was doing well. But when she got that triangle, they were talking about all the different things. The arm wasn't across for a lot of it. And it's very difficult to just make a triangle work without the arm. It doesn't work because you have a one side that's always open as far as the carotids. And it just, they're sitting there saying, oh, she's in trouble. It's like, not right now. She's not. All right. Mm-hmm. Now there was moments where she did get in trouble and then she kind of worked her way out. But I thought it was a nice maneuver for Andrea to stick with it all the way through. I would have thought her legs were blowing up after a while too. I would have thought she would have done a couple of different things to make the triangle work a little bit different at times, but she's the one feeling that, to sit there on the outside and say, oh, you need to do this. Well, sometimes that's nice to say, but when you're there, you can feel that I can't do that right now. So I love the switch to the armbar. I love that she put the arm underneath her arm to, really put the pressure on the elbow, because with a lot of the ladies, they're so flexible in their joints that they can put up with a lot of pressure, but you put that much on, that really makes that difference. And that's how she got the tap. I was impressed with Andrea Lee's performance. I thought she fought really well.
Yeah. I was surprised she was able to hold that triangle on for basically 3.5 minutes.
So I'm telling you.
Yeah, I was thinking to myself, man, she's going to have a hard time walking back to her car after this.
Exactly.
But she was dirty. She was trying to mix it up in a bunch of different ways, but what I felt like she needed to do was just settle down. And I was listening to a little bit of Joe's advice as well. She should have been pulling down on the head. So there was a couple times where she put the arm across, but then she should have been pulling down on the head from that moment.
Yeah.
She wasn't. I think that would have made a big difference as well. But there was moments there where Antonina, she had her elbow was almost clear. So there was moments where there was gaps. Like I think Joe was saying the same thing. There was gaps in there. Yeah. Then it looked like she could have potentially been out. So I could tell that they wasn't fully on, around the neck. So there was moments where you could see a little bit of her chin coming out the back end there. But then, Andrea Lee pulled her back inside. And then she was trying to wiggle it around, trying to move the arm in a bunch of different areas. But she was moving so much that she wasn't really focused on those two specific things, putting the arm over and pulling the head down. I think that's what kind of delayed the submission. But then eventually, like she said, with 10 seconds left? Or no, a minute left. Wow. So it was about 10 seconds left that she stretched the arm and was able to get it. Got to go for it, at the end there. You only got 10 seconds left. Got to go for it. So she got lucky she was able to get it behind the arm, though, also. Yeah. Underneath the armpit.
Big difference when it comes to the ladies.
Yes, very true. Who reminds me of American Psycho? That Jordan Wright kid. That's like that. He's a very weird personality.
Yeah, well, he's very, I don't know if it's weird, but he's very straight-laced.
Yes.
He's
I could see him being an American Psycho though. Somebody that seems very straight-laced, but on the other side. Like a Dexter type person, right?
Oh, Dexter, man, you've gone all the way to serial killer. Way to go.
Yeah. So he's got that. He has that look, a little bit of that look and that vibe to him when he talks. That he's seems very prim and proper, but he's probably behind closed doors, just killing people, just stringing them up. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. That's what I got from it. His interview, his post-fight interview. Oh, it was great.
The best part, he had never fought in front of a crowd in the UFC. I go, good point. All right.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's so funny, right? Some of these fighters have never fought a crowd because he came in 2020. That's crazy. Lando Venata and Mike Grundy.
Oh.
I thought Lando looked smooth, groovy, all the things that they had talked about.
Yeah.
He just looked so relaxed.
He did.
You know, he's fun to watch. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more output from him. I mean, but he was obviously more afraid of conceding a takedown and being stuck on bottom, you know, and carrying the weight. But he did a great job at stuffing takedowns, and not just stuffing them, but even when he didn't get it, or even when he was getting ready to be taken down, he'd turn his back and start fighting the hands right away. And I was like, well, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought he did a fabulous job of stuffing the takedowns and escaping the takedowns, or not letting him get it fully to the ground. He did a great job.
Let's talk about the score of 30-27. Yeah. What the hell was that?
No idea. None.
I was like, what? I'm listening, and I can't remember what they said. I think first score was 29-20. I said, okay. And they go 30-27, and I went, for Grundy? Are you fucking mad? But whatever. You know, at least the right guy won. That's all I care about. And yeah, I mean, Venata at times, he took big shots. He took a couple of big shots. His head was snapping back on a couple of them, because Grundy was, you know, coming after him, but Grundy was, I thought Dean Thomas said the right thing. He was compartmentalized in the way he was approaching the fight. It was either it was wrestling or he was striking, and it never meshed together where he was going after the striking and then went into the grappling area, which gave Lando a lot of opportunities to be successful in stopping the takedowns. And it was just, he looked as good as I've ever seen him. At 145 pounds, he looked great. Since that was his first featherweight fight, he looked fantastic.
Yeah, I thought he looked great. And he was saying that the weight cut was easy, the easiest weight cut he's had in a long time. I thought he looked smooth. I thought he looked, he didn't look like he gassed out at the end after the weight cut. So he looked, I think he's finally found his weight class, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of his activity. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but I think he's 32. I think he's around 32. Anyways, but he doesn't have, I don't want to say he doesn't have long, but to get up to that title contention, it's going to take about 2 years. You know, you figure 2 more fights, 1 more fight maybe this year, maybe 2 fights next year, and that should put him in the top 5 if he has success. So
29.
Who knows? I always love watching him fight. He's fun.
He is fun.
Oh, he's 29. 29.
Did you see he did a spinning, I don't even know, I'm going to call it, so he did the tornado with no kick, no punch, nothing. He just jumped up like he was a ballet guy and just did a spin. I was like, all right, what was that? That was pretty cool, but didn't do anything. But he's
probably thinking about doing it.
He was. He's just fun to watch. He's a fun fighter to watch. But he definitely deserved the win. I'm glad he got it.
What else fights were on there?
Well, let's talk about the Caitlin Chookagian fight against Araujo.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people were complaining about Caitlin winning the fight. I know Cormier had basically given Araujo the first 2 rounds. But let's be honest, first round, she definitely got. Second round is very close. So it could have gone either way. And take a look at her at the end of the fight. She got beat up. Caitlin did a lot of work, did a lot of volume on her at the end. Actually hit her with more strikes in I think both the second and the third round. So a lot of people were complaining. It's like, I don't know what you're complaining about. That was a good fight for both. And it's very easy to see how the judges could have gone with Caitlin in the second round. Overall, if you look at the volume for the entire fight, I think Caitlin had a lot more volume in the fight, but it was a good, clean fight. I want to see Araujo again. She's strong. She's got good ground. You can see she's got a good base. She's got good stand-up. She's going to be really good. She just needs to come into, just fighting more.
Yeah. I thought Chookagian won the fight, and she did. But I'm saying I thought she had the more output. The problem is, though, is that she doesn't sit down on anything, really. Not a lot of power delivery.
She's like a point fighter.
Yeah, she reminds me a little bit, I don't want to say Stephen Thompson, but it has like the kicks but like that style of kicking, like where the foot goes up and it's like more of a slap instead of like, yeah, it's not. So I'm not trying to make the comparison, but I just did. So it's like, but it had that karate style, I should say the karate style of kicking, She has that. I do like her little tip kick or push kick that she does. That's pretty good. There was one time she was able to knock her off balance onto her feet. I want to say it was the beginning of the second. She's good. My thing is when I watch anybody fight in that weight class, I'm thinking to myself, you're never going to be champion. So it's like none of them are going to beat Valentina Shevchenko. None of them. No, and so when I'm watching them fight, I'm going, you guys have a long ways to go before you get to her, be able to have success against her. So I don't know. It was one, it's hard. It's kind of a vibe kill. I know for me when I'm watching it, I'm like, all right, well, you guys, what I'm seeing out of you is not going to be enough to beat the champion. So, all right, it's cool to watch you fight, but
I don't watch them fight thinking, oh, you can't beat the champion. I just watch them fight.
I know, but it's in my mind though. That goes through my mind. I wonder. I'm like, damn, that sucks. It's you got to think about. I mean, think about all the guys that were fighting in John Jones' weight class for the longest time, and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna beat John. You're like thinking to yourself, nah, no, you're
probably not.
So, okay. So did the Tony Ferguson and Dariush fight live up to your hype?
Did it live up to my hype? It lived up to exactly what we talked about.
Yeah.
I got a 37-year-old guy facing a younger guy, and he's just not able to stop what that guy does. And in the end, every round, I'm listening to Ben in his corner talking and saying, all right, hey, he doesn't want to stand with you. I'm like, it's because he doesn't have to stand with you.
Yeah.
This is not he doesn't want to stand with you. He's taking the fight and putting it in the place where it's easiest for him to win. That's being smart. Why take the chance? And I even in the stand-up, it wasn't like Tony was doing anything that you looked and you go, wow, he's really he's landing big solid shots. He's giving Beneil a hard time there. He wasn't, and it's basically I hate to say when you're right, and I'd hate to say this against you, but when you talked about the difference when you were 37 and you fought Tony and he was 32, and you go, look at this is exactly reversed, and it was exactly that same problem. It was just that wave where, yeah, you're fighting hard. It's just you're a step behind and it's just not working. And that's what I saw in this fight for Tony. It's just that Beneil was a step ahead. Tony again showed he's fucking crazy tough. That freaking heel hook, I would have tapped 5 times. It was nasty. Yeah. I think it popped his leg. He doesn't tap. He's just tough as shit, but he's slowed down. He has just physically slowed down. And that's the difference that you're seeing. That's the difference between the Tony Ferguson that was winning 12 fights in a row and the Tony Ferguson that now has lost 3 fights in a row. And it's not going to change with the people that he's in that weight class with that they can put with him. It's not going to change until they go down, into the areas that he's going to be saying he doesn't want to fight.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate to say that I feel like I'm right about that situation because I like Tony, and we talked about, his mental toughness will always be there.
Yep.
But the physical part of it is just not. It's not going to be there anymore, and it's going to get now. When you look at the damage he took in the Gaethje fight, that you leave a part of your body and you leave a part of yourself in the cage, and then not even so much that he took a lot of damage in the Oliveira fight. But we don't know the results of that armbar and how tight it was and how messed up his elbow was. He's going to have more damage and more stuff going on after he's done with his fight. And now the knee, with the reverse heel hook, like that type of stuff. Not tapping to that stuff at 37 years old. I don't know how much pain it was. But Darius said, he's like, yeah, I felt it pop. He's like, it was loud. He's like, I heard it and I felt it. Yep. And then I asked about it. He's like, he didn't even answer me. And so, but then that right there is another thing that's going to just slow you down because now you're taking damage to the point where you're tearing ligaments or you're, whatever it is, tearing cartilage, whatever it is, you're hurting yourself. So in the long run, you're not going to have an active life. It's going to be a lot harder for you, after fighting when you're not training all the time. Your body, like I talked about last week, and we talked about in the commissions meeting. I said, most of my injuries I didn't really feel while I was fighting. And now I'm 43 years old and like I feel them all the time, you know? And it's like, because I'm not training every single day. I'm not doing all the things that I was to keep my body strong, you know? And that's when the fighters start to feel it. It's not a year or two after. It's like 4, 6, maybe 8 years later when they're retired, they start feeling all these pains. And so I'd hate to see him keep doing like things like that, like he did today with the reverse heel hook and in the armbar position. Like, just tap, move on, let's go. A loss is a loss, whether you lose in a decision or you lose by tap. A loss is a loss, you know. And to save your body, you know, for the future, you have a whole other life to live after this. You know, after your fight career is done, it's going to be another 30 years, hopefully. You know, God willing, maybe even 40. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to see. It's hard for me to watch because, like I said, I look at as if he was me during the time that we fought, and I got a lot of respect for him, man. He's a grinder. He's tough. And like I said, his mental fortitude is just absolutely insane. But it's just father time. Nothing you can do.
Yeah.
You know? We'll see what his decisions are. See what they do.
But you got to give it to. Let's not take anything away from Dariush. He fought smart. He dominated the fight. He did everything that he was supposed to do. He, similar to what Oliveira should have gotten a submission against him. You know, just Tony was too tough. Same with Dariush. He should have tapped to that heel hook, but you got to give it to Dariush and all the things that he was doing in there. He looked great, and they were talking about when Tony locked up the Darius up against the cage when Dariush was on top of him, and they're saying, "Oh, this is trouble," and I'm going, "No, it's not. I'm sorry, that's not the position you want to be in with that Darius. That's not going to work, and not against someone that knows what they're doing. If the guy doesn't know what he's doing, yeah, it could be a problem." But they had talked about all the things that Dariush had, all of his competition in jiu-jitsu and stuff. And like I said, he used to compete in the tournaments I had at my gym, and back then, and he was good. And he's not a guy you're just going to throw a Darius on and he's going to be tapping. That's not going to happen. He's that good on the ground.
What I was impressed by the most out of him was that he stuck to his game plan.
Yeah.
He very rarely does that in some of his other fights. He gets coaxed into that whole let's stand and bang or let's trade and let's get grimy and dirty. But, I mean, to be honest, he made it look easy. Everything he did, he made it look easy. The big slam, where he slammed Tony.
Yep.
I mean, he had the very first takedown. There was a lot of positions in there where, Tony could have locked in the triangle or tried to get to the triangle, but he was controlling that ankle so he couldn't wiggle the leg out. He did a lot of good things. He took a lot of big elbows in that first exchange on the ground. I was expecting him to back out. I was also expecting him to cut, but that never happened. So it was just like
because he doesn't have soft skin like some people.
Like me, yeah. Like you. That's a soft kind of guy, No, it just it was he fought his game plan, stayed on track, and you could just see, but there was no change in Tony. There was no sense of urgency to get back to his feet, no sense of urgency to he was just comfortable being in guard, comfortable trying to shoot submissions or comfortable, and that you can't fight that way knowing that the guy wants to keep taking you down because he knows that's where his advantage is, or not his advantage, but he knows he feels comfortable down there with no risk. Yeah. So the objective is to make him feel uncomfortable by getting back to by getting back to your feet. And that never happened. And I agree with you, with his damn corner, he just kept telling him he don't want to fucking stand with you.
Yeah.
I want to say in the second round, he said something else too. I was thinking the same thing that you were probably thinking. It was basically everything was okay. Yeah. And I'm like, everything's not okay.
No, you're losing. But at that point,
lost 2-4.
If you looked at Tony, that was, when you made the one comment, he wasn't showing anything. If you look at Tony's face and you look at his body language before the start of the third round, you can see it. He knows he's hurt. He knows his leg is jacked now. He knows he doesn't have any good balance. He knows he's not going to be able to stop the takedown. And you could just see it in the way he was looking. It's like, holy Christ, it's happening again. And I really felt bad for him at that point. But this is part of the game. You know,
There's always going to be
the mean, evil mistress, man.
Yep. There's going to always be a young stud that comes up. You know, your time on top will last forever. All right, well, let's get right into that main event.
Oh, my God. You got to admit, it was a great fight.
Yeah,
it was good. What's that?
Had a little bit of everything in it.
It did. I really loved the fact that Charles did what we looked at and said, well, he's got, when Mike comes out, he's got to meet that. He cannot give ground to Mike and start backing out, circling out. He's got to make Mike have to stop. He did that right away. And you look, you went, oh, there you go. Coaches they're watching film, they're understanding. Don't give that ground. He's technically, man, he's tight, he's sharp in what he does. He got tagged a couple of times though, in that, I'll go back before that. He ends up, getting the back on Chandler and he's working and, my wife is watching. She says, oh, he's in trouble. I go, not right now. I said, you watch, he's going to spin. The biggest problem is when he's got the body triangle and he's got that one leg up. I said, that's the side Mike's going to want to spin to. Wait until he gets that leg free. That's when he's going to try to spin. He does it all the time. And this is where you look at body types. He's got that, we talked about, really strong core, and he continuously does this same maneuver when guys get his back all the time. And he spins inside of that body triangle. He was able to do it again to get himself out of danger. And he did a lot of good work on the ground. He beat Charles up on the ground during that first round. He hurt him in the stand-up, put him down. I give it to Charles, man, tough as hell, because he was in trouble at that one point when he was on his knees, taking shots, and he went to his back to go to guard. Smart, intelligent fighting by a veteran fighter. This is, man, I can't stay here, and I'm not going to be able to get up. Let me at least get myself back, and you've only got the tools that you have, go forward. And that means if I put my back, on the ground, at least I have something that I can hold on to him, touch him with. I thought it was a smart move by Charles. He was able to survive the round. It was easily a clear round for Michael Chandler, but just coming out of that round, you look and you said, okay, we got to fight. And then right away, he lands that beautiful left hook. And look, you land, one shot will change any fight. That could have gone 4 rounds the same way. And you land that left hook like he did. That was a beautiful shot. And as soon as he landed, I said, oh, it's over. Mike was able to kind of spin out and survive for a couple seconds. But, you take a big shot like that and you see that energy snapping that head around like it did, you're in trouble.
Yeah, there was a couple things. I thought Charles had the right game plan. He came out right away and threw a couple calf kicks, and one of them actually dropped Chandler. I think it was like one of the first ones or the second one.
Yeah, but he was up in the air, and that's why. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
But that, and then he came out, like you said, I really enjoyed the fact that he came out and met Michael right in the middle and didn't back away. And that push kick, that tip kick right to the face and also to the body to let him know. And then also, too, when Michael threw, he just stood there. He never backed away from the power. He just covered up real tight with his defense, and he just stood there. He ended up getting caught, like you said, towards the midway point, I think, of the second round, he got caught and got wobbled and rocked a little bit and stuff like that. But I love the fact that he was able to brush it off. He just kept to his game plan, kept doing what he was doing. He had a lot of good attacks. I was expecting when he got to Michael's back, I was like, ooh, this is dangerous. I didn't think he was going to finish him, but I was like, I could see him staying here for as long as he possibly can until Chandler can finally get the escape. But I was like, there can be opportunities there, because sometimes Chandler he risks it all to get out sometimes, and he leaves his arms out, he leaves things open. So I was thinking at any time, because Charles is slick in terms of his transitions, super slick. So,
but you got to say, look, nobody has ever submitted Chandler, and he's had guys, that have had him in bad spots, and not one of them have submitted. So it's not an easy out for anybody in that category.
Yeah, I think what we saw though, John, and
Tell me what you
Correct me
think,
if
because
I'm wrong.
I have my thoughts.
Yeah, I thought I was watching another Michael Chandler Will Brooks fight where he got to that, like he was lunging in trying to catch him. There was moments where Chandler was reaching so wide that he was missing the punches. It was like I felt like he was having a hard time with the reach, trying to hit Oliveira. Oliveira's defense was tight. Like he left himself open trying to reach and get to him. And even when he got rocked, he turned away, trying to like, remember how he did with Will Brooks? He kind of like turned his face away, kind of like just tried to run away.
Yeah.
He did that same thing in this situation. He reacts differently when he gets in trouble, on the feet, regardless. Like is what I'm talking about. And I saw a little bit of that tonight, and that's a little dangerous. I mean, Charles to me doesn't seem like he has a lot of power, but he stays tight with everything, and his punches got there pretty fast, and he was on defensively on cue, just cover and then throw right back. I was very impressed. I was just very impressed with everything Oliveira did, weathering the storm in the first, losing good positions and then being put in shitty positions. And then it seemed like when he came out in the second, it was like, okay, round one is behind me now. Now let's get into round two. And he came out just doing the same thing he started off in round one with, and he had success with. Was he came out and started boxing a little bit with one leg kick. It seemed like nothing fazed him. I mean, that's what you want out of your champion. Great stuff, man.
Yeah.
I was thoroughly impressed with him, like all the way around.
One of the things, oh yeah, one of the things that I really saw, Chandler was nervous. Pressure was getting to him. You could see it no matter what. And there was certain little moments that when he was in the cage and he was walking around and moving, you see him taking those gulping breaths. It's telling you, man, you know what? The nerves are there, the butterflies. He's feeling it, and the adrenaline's flowing. And when you watched Oliveira, everything Oliveira was doing, he was very relaxed. He was calm. To me, he looked ready, and he looked like I deserved to be here. I think, he had never been in that championship fight there. Chandler had been in championship fights, but the pressure of being in the UFC in a championship fight, I think it got to him a little bit, because, and especially even when you look at the end of the first round, I always look at the guy's diaphragm. It's a habit from when I was reffing. And you look at the diaphragm of Chandler, man, he was breathing heavy, which is telling you he had a big old adrenaline dump from all that stuff. Now, he was doing a lot of work. I'm not saying anything about it, but you could see he got elevated, and a lot of that had to do with just the pressure and the adrenaline and everything happening in that fight. And when he didn't get rid of him, in a way, I think I kind of played on his head a little bit too. Like that was a big chance of mine. Instead of just saying, next round, let's just do the same thing. It just didn't work out for him because he got touched really quick and early, and it was over. But I do think nerves played a little bit of a part in that fight.
I feel like he came in a little overconfident. I got that vibe in his interviews. I got that vibe in his weigh-in. They had a weigh-in interview that they showed, I think, with him with Megan O'Leary. He had this way I've always felt about him. He has those one-liners and like those things that he says. You know what I mean? And it just comes across, I guess, maybe it's me, it comes across as arrogant and cocky, which a lot of us are. A lot of fighters are that way. We're not here to dispute that. But what I read into these ones though was that I think he came in overconfident is how I looked at it. I'm not going to take anything away from Charles. Charles had a great fight, fought a beautiful fight. I just think Chandler came in thinking like, I'm going to touch this kid and he's going to fold. And, and I don't think he expected him to still be there after that first round. And when he kept saying like, well, I'm going to get him out of there and in the first 2 rounds or whatever it is, that's a lot of pressure you put on yourself. To actually live up to that, and then the way he just came into the UFC with a big win, big knockout win over Dan Hooker, I think there was more expectations of him doing it again. And I mean, I can admit to myself too. I was like, man, how does Charles win this fight? I was like, I don't see him subbing him. I definitely didn't see him knocking out Michael, but I did see him kind of outworking Michael in the rounds 3, 4, and 5. That's where I thought it would go. I didn't think it'd go the way that it went. So,
Yep.
Hey, yeah, man, the kid's talented. He's super good.
You know, a lot of people are complaining, you know, now they're really going to say something about he didn't deserve that shot. Yes, he did. He came in, He did a good job against Dan Hooker. He's someone when you're looking, because they'd already made the Poirier. Obviously, I think that Dustin Poirier deserved the championship shot more than anybody. But, you know, and I thought that Charles Oliveira was the second guy that deserved that shot. But if you're going to take Poirier out of the equation, I was looking to say, well, Chandler's a good person to put in there since he just had a big win. He's new to the promotion and stuff. It all made sense to me. I thought it was the right fight to do. But, you know, it's been done in the past. You know, people, I hear people saying, well, you know, oh, no one's ever had a title fight after 2 fights. Bullshit. People have had title fights in their very first fight in the UFC. You know, short memories. Gil Melendez, you know, came in from Strikeforce and fought Benson Henderson in his very first fight in the UFC. You know? Yeah. The UFC
Quentin
brought, what's that?
Didn't Quentin get us off of his second fight?
Quentin off his second fight. He fought Marvin Eastman in his first fight, and then fought Chuck Liddell in his second fight and won the title. You know, so there was another one. You had Mock Sakurai came in and one fight. He's got one fight in the UFC. It was against Matt Hughes for the title. You know, so they have done that. You know, Brock Lesnar, he fought I think his third fight was against Randy Couture. He had lost to Frank Mir in his first fight, beat Heath Herring, and then he got a title fight against Randy Couture. So, you know, you've had those kind of things happen with the UFC in the past, but you know, it's all good.
I thought he deserved it. Look, if Conor and Dustin were gonna fight, that's what changed the whole dynamic.
Sure,
of it.
it did.
And then I would say if Conor wasn't gonna fight Dustin, then I could see Dustin and Oliveira then maybe making
that was the one. If you're looking, because based upon if you're looking at guys that were winning and who had fought recently and deserved it, well, Dustin, he beat Conor. That puts him in a position, and he was number one. That puts him in the position. He's still number one. And then when Oliveira fights Tony Ferguson, that puts him on an 8-fight win streak, and he beats Tony Ferguson. Those two deserved it. And Dustin ends up, he's going to do the trilogy fight with Conor. I don't blame him. It's understandable. And so that puts you in the position of, okay, well, who do you think deserves it? Well, Justin Gaethje was coming off of a loss. So it's really not the fight that you want to put him in. And then you look at everybody else, RDA is back there, but probably not, so the Chandler thing made total sense.
They're going to have to do the Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler fight. That's going to have to be next. Both coming off losses.
Well, either
try to get one of them.
Either that or, if they're going to have, well, I don't know. I think Tony Ferguson's going to be out for a while anyways, but after that press conference, the Dana White privilege press conference, I don't know. I could see Chandler and Tony Ferguson, but who knows?
That'd be fun. Yeah, I really think they're going to try to put that Justin Gaethje and Chandler fight together, the two of them. Then, I mean, it would make sense. That'd be definitely that'd be another main event.
Well, I don't
know if you could make it. I don't think you can make a Tony Ferguson or Michael Chandler main event.
Yeah. Well, again, they do like to put two people that have losses into that fight together, so someone comes out with a win. So that's the kind of scenario I could see. Yeah, it could happen.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see it.
Oh yeah.
Scroll down there on the fight card. No, on the fight card. What did you think of I can't even pronounce her last name. Priscilla. The Priscilla fight
Cachoeira?
and Mazzani. Yeah, Cachoeira.
Mazzani just ran out of gas. Let's just be honest.
But I thought it was a great comeback by Priscilla. It was nasty.
And you're going to hear a lot of people say something about Beltran with the stand-up because it was after the stand-up from the guard position that all of a sudden Priscilla just took over, and Gina was in real trouble with it and ended up, basically losing from that point. But it was the right thing to do with the stand-up at the time. You know, she was tired. She wasn't doing anything as far as damaging her. She wasn't trying to improve her position. So he gave her time, and eventually it was, all right, I'm going to stand you up from that position. So he stands him up, and it was just fatigue. Fatigue is what beat Gina. And I don't know if it was based upon the weight cut. I don't know if it was based upon the training. I don't if it was based upon the pressure of fighting Priscilla, you know, thinking that she was a big, you know, puncher and that was going to cause her problems, and there was nerves. I don't know. But she did gas, and that was the big difference in her losing that fight.
Yeah, she gassed a lot. The pressure, she was having to circle and stay away, and she had no reaction. You know, there was moments there where she actually turned away. She did a little bit of what Chandler.
Yeah, that's
like
the one
turned.
about the time the fight will get stopped on you.
Yeah. But I thought it was a good comeback by Priscilla. I thought Priscilla fought it. She didn't fight a great fight up until that moment, but she capitalized on that moment of being stood back up like, hey, this is my chance.
Yeah.
So she went after her, seeing how tired she was. I thought she did a great job.
You know, if you
Congrats
remember
to her.
Priscilla was the one that fought Valentina Shevchenko, and she came in last minute replacement, you know, and just got beat down badly in that fight. And you know, she's come back from that fight and done very well in the UFC. So congratulations to her.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, guys, go to mybookie.ag or mybookie.com. Use the promo code weighing in, and they'll give you some extra money and some extra cash. And hopefully you guys used our bets, or hopefully you guys didn't actually.
Hopefully you guys did.
Yeah, right. But I think we went with Dariush though in that fight, didn't we?
I did. Yeah, I went with Darius.
Yeah, we went with Dariush. Yeah, we went with Dariush, and then I said to go with Chandler. We both kind of leaned that way because Chandler was the underdog. But
I think I went on rounds.
Did you go on rounds?
Yeah.
So, hey, good stuff though. Yeah, mybookie.ag. Use the promo code weighing in. Get some extra cash for some upcoming events. What else you got for us, Dave?
Did you see that the UFC increased the bonus money for fighters at 262?
Yeah, we heard it. I think they bumped it up to $75K, which is nice. I think it's great. Is it just a one-off, or is it because I think what happened was, I want to say Tony said it or Oliveira said it. I think at the presser, they said, "Hey, why don't you sweeten that deal a little bit or something like that?" And then Dana came out and said, "Yeah, he's going to do it to $75K." I mean, you would think. I mean, what'd they make? They made $2 billion this year. They made over $1 billion this year in profit for 2020. So I'd say they can afford another $75,000 for fighters for
Another
special
25
bonuses.
grand.
Yeah,
But it's not,
yeah, that's
whatever
fair.
it is. They don't have to do it. You know,
Yeah.
let's just be honest and take a look at it. They don't have to do it. And the fact that they are, be it if it's 75, 50, 25, obviously the more it is, the better, but it's awesome that they do it. The worst part is you're going to get ones like, you know, Angela Lee had a great performance there and gets the submission on Shevchenko, and she's asking for it, you know, and then, you know, Jordan Wright ends up with a big time, you know, quick finish on Pickett, you know, and so, well, he could kind of get it. And then Lando Venata has a great, you know, long fight, but that one's not going to do it. You're not going to get it if you're Muniz with the arm break, even though you deserve it on that fight because you really, you know, you submitted a guy that people would have said you're never going to get a submission on that guy, you know. And so all these fights, you know, the Edson Barbosa, Shane Burgos fight, so many of those fights, and you look at the fighter that doesn't get it and you go, man, I'm sorry, you deserved it, you had a great performance, but yeah, those guys got it. But that's the only problem.
Yeah,
you'd like to see all of them get their bonus.
Yeah, they tend to, like, if the main card fighters, if it's close with the main card fighter versus the prelim fighter, the main card fighter's going to get it.
Yep.
They're trying to keep those main card fighters happy.
There you go.
All right, what else you got for us, Dave? Stop yawning, man. You're going to make me yawn more than I already do. Jeez.
Did you guys see the news that Dana White blocked the GSP and Oscar De La Hoya fight?
Oh, see, I never said anything about that. I told Josh about it.
Yeah. I didn't say anything about it either. So, yeah, I I figured that they would try, and they would try and block it. I don't know what the fuck. John, let him box, dude. What do you care? Like that's this is why people want that Ollie Act and all the other union shit. Moments like this, dude. He's 41 years old. Let him fucking go box a guy who's 50 something years old in a Triller show or whatever the fuck. No one cares. Like they want to just see something that's entertaining. They're not gonna go back and go like, oh yeah, he was a UFC guy, and they're not gonna give a shit. No one's gonna care. You know, this is all just a gimmick. This is all just for ways to make money. They're fun fights. Let them do it. And I actually think that fucking GSP was fucking mop the floor with him. I think that the way Oscar's been lately. I mean, he's I don't think health wise that he's somebody that would prepare for the fight. I don't think he'd take it serious. And I think GSP, we all know he's someone that takes everything seriously when it comes to this.
There's no doubt that GSP takes it seriously. I do know that, when I told you, look, they want to put Oscar De La Hoya against GSP. I do know that Oscar was training, and he was training pretty good. Then he had that nice little bender at their show where he was commentating that did not look good. But this is where exactly what you're saying, and it's the same thing. If you remember Dan Hardy, asked for his release, and they gave it to him after a little bit with him wanting to go back and fight, but they had just released Dan Hardy from commentating and stuff and that whole situation. But this is where there is a problem. There's a problem when you own somebody. You should never be able to own somebody. That's just wrong. I mean, if you want to keep George from fighting MMA in another promotion, I understand that. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
But to sit there and say, no, you can't go box, that's, I'm sorry, it's outside of the purview of what you had a, contract for. Now, I do know that, yes, their contract does say boxing, but his whole career was in MMA. And if he wants to go box at this age and not fight MMA anymore, I don't think that the UFC or Bellator or One or any of them should have the right to tell the fighter, no, you can't go box.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like if I look at it like like Michael Jordan when he left the NBA and he went and played baseball. If the NBA was like, no, you can't play baseball because no, we have a contract on you.
No, that's another professional sport.
It's a different sport. It's completely different. And this is a different sport. Boxing, it's been proven just recently that MMA with like Ben Askren and boxing is different. It's completely different. And so like, I know that there's some parts of boxing that we use, but GSP's not making a run at another title in the UFC.
No.
So what's the point of locking him down and not letting him make money? Like millions also. I mean, he would have probably made millions, for that fight. This is why fighters get all up in arms over this Ollie Act and all this other union stuff. And I mean, outside of like, this is why, like if you want to silence those type of people, let GSP go fight, go do it, man. And I understood when I didn't like it, but I understood when the UFC was holding Randy Couture hostage not to go fight over in Affliction. Cause it's MMA. It's a separate promotion. It was like that whole thing. I understood. I didn't like it because I really wanted to see the Fedor and Randy Couture fight.
Yep.
But I thought it made sense, business sense. It made sense for the UFC to do that, and I understood that. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
You guys are just being selfish pricks. Like you guys. It's true, and that's really what it is. Like they want to control the situation and the narrative of what happens. Let him go fight some 53-year-old boxer, however old he is, De La Hoya is.
56.
And yeah, he'd probably fucking win. That's the other thing. He's probably gonna beat him. I mean, who's gonna be his coach? Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach knows De La Hoya pretty damn well.
Yeah.
He knows De La
Coached him for a
Hoya
while.
pretty damn well. Yeah. And so I honestly believe that Freddie Roach sees something in GSP to say, like, you know what, we've got a pretty good chance of winning this fight. Let's go out there and give it a go.
What's Oscar's age?
I'd love
He's 48.
48.
48? Okay. I said 56. Well, way off.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he was 50. I thought he was already 50. But still, I mean, GSP's what, 42? Yeah, I think it's 42. Yeah. Let him fight, man. Go. I mean, you know, GSP takes care of his body.
Oh,
He
yeah.
doesn't drink. He's always working out. I mean, when I follow him on Instagram, all I see is all of his workout shit. I don't ever see him post anything about anything outside of like his just workouts. He's doing his pool workouts, his track workouts, all that stuff. I think it's shitty that they're doing that to him.
He's going to be 40 in a couple days.
Oh, he is going to be 40 in a couple days. Damn. Oh, he's not even 40 yet.
No. He's a young man.
I thought he was 42 or 43. Yeah, I mean, I would have loved to have seen that fight, to be honest. I would have actually paid for it.
Yeah, actually, that would have been one that I would have probably bought to watch.
Yep.
But
And
then
that's
again,
what
they would have lied about how many people bought that too. So
At 1.5.
they wish.
That was laughable.
Oh,
Man, I'm still wondering how many people got arrested. Remember, they said we're giving you 30 days notice to go ahead and pay your fees.
Ooh, I love
We're
that
gonna
one too.
And these people are still waiting for the knock on the door. What else you got, Dave?
Did you guys see this news that came out with Jason Miller arrested for vandalism and attempted grand theft, and he gets a year in jail?
This guy can't get out of his own way.
Jason has had a rough go, and Jason's got I don't want to say he's got some mental health issues, and it's not something to laugh about. It's not funny. It's sad. He needs help with it. This is let's just be honest with this. Mental health is something that most people are we don't even talk about. We'll just say certain things, but it's a serious problem. People get ill in all kinds of ways, but when it's in your brain, all of a sudden it's you're just crazy. You can't help a lot of it. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't bring on some of these things himself and stuff, but I used to work with Jason. Jason's a good guy, but he does need to take his medication to help control some of the things that start to impact him, and I feel bad for Jason. He's a guy that had a lot going for him in a lot of ways. He's got a great personality in a lot of ways. He's funny as hell. He is crazy as hell as far as, he'll do crazy things, but that, I'm not saying it in a mental health situation thing. I mean, your friends, you go, that guy's crazy. He'll do anything. That's Jason. But I really feel bad for him. I really do. And I hope that he doesn't end up in jail. I don't know what he got arrested for with vandalism or attempted grand theft. So hopefully it works out.
300. He did sentence him to 364 days.
Well, that means he'll be in county jail if he's in 364 days. He doesn't go to state. He goes to county, which means he'll be out within a short time, but still.
6 months. Good behavior, maybe.
Probably faster than that.
Oh, wow. All right, what else you got for us?
Did you guys see this video?
And Nick and what's his name? Tyson Fury.
Fury.
Together.
You gotta love Tyson Fury, man. Do you remember when Tyson Fury was saying he would kill? He wanted to fight Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, he wanted to fight Ngannou also. Called out Francis Ngannou. Sent a video to him and some tweets or something like that. He did a video and sent it to him on Twitter. He'll fight everyone.
I know. I love him.
Fun.
He is a blast.
Yes.
Talk about it. But again, another guy that's had some mental health issues and stuff, but he's been able to come up on the brighter side of things. But hey, a lot of people have these problems, and you got to give them some room, give them some help. Don't mock them. Don't say bad things. Don't make the situation worse. Try to make it better.
He got a really funny body style. And to watch him, I see him because I follow him on Instagram, and I can see like the videos he posts. He's always walking around in like slippers and a robe. He's always got on these, like fight shorts, the spandex fight shorts.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like,
and he's got great love handles, man. He got them love handles. As soon as he starts to move, man, they're jiggling all around and stuff. And you go, hey, there you go. And that's a bad man. So, because that dude can box.
Yep. I think he's going to put it on Anthony Joshua. I don't think
I've said that for a long time. If they ever put that fight together, Anthony Joshua, who I thought, when Anthony Joshua was young, I said, man, this guy's going to be a heavyweight champion. But he doesn't have the skills to be in the ring for a long time with Tyson Fury. Tyson's just a way better boxer.
Yep. And he's a lot more active, too, in terms of his activity in the ring. He's got his output is a lot more. And so Anthony Joshua will slow down as the fight goes on.
Yep.
What else you got?
All right, last piece of news is Conor McGregor being named the highest paid athlete of 2021 by Forbes. And then he comes out and says, baby, we did it.
Yeah.
Red panty night.
Shit. I still am so baffled by the fact that he's still fighting. I'm like, why? I don't understand at all. Like, you obviously have other business ventures that you're really focusing on. If he loses this one, it could potentially affect some of your business ventures that you're working on as well. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna get the same Conor we ever got before, because like we were talking about with the Brandon Vera thing, is that when there's other things that are happening outside, it kind of takes away from what your focus is.
Takes away the focus.
Yeah, fighting is not a
part-time activity.
Really struggling. Yeah, fighting is.
Let me finish all of these things for you.
Yeah, it's all the way in or all the way out. And so, yeah, I don't know if we're going to see him much longer, but I enjoy watching him fight. But I could see I don't understand why he's still fighting. But I'm to be honest, an MMA guy now is at the top of the Forbes magazine or whatever for the highest paid athlete. That's pretty good, huh? Impressive. Yeah, considering everyone complains about fighter pay.
And everyone complains about fighter pay, and everyone complains about him. And this is where I tell people, fighters I talk to, don't ever complain about him. Emulate him. As far as look at what he's doing, look at what he did. The guy stepped out, and he created a situation that made pay better for everybody that is in the upper categories. Obviously, that's not going to happen in the mid levels or lowers, but it's because of Conor that a lot of guys are making a lot more money. And he did it off of being very braggadocious about things, about making predictions, but he backed those things up. And when he backed those things up, he kept putting more and more pressure on the promotion to pay him more because he was delivering. And he got people's attention, and he made money, and he made the company money. And so he deserves that. And then, all the other things outside of it, business-wise, he's made some really good decisions. He's associated himself with very smart people. He has put himself in a position to have businesses that are making a lot of money, that he is now, some of them that he sold for a lot of money. Give it to him, man. He's doing things right as far as making, his brand work, and he deserves credit for it. He really does. The only difference is if Floyd was still fighting, he would be the guy at the top.
Yeah, Floyd's going to come up here pretty soon, right? Against Jake Paul.
That's not a fight.
And he's already saying he's going to make $100 million just for that fight.
Well, we'll see.
Damn, that's crazy. What else? That's it? All right. You want to do a fan question or two, or?
Let me see if I've got any from last time.
Okay. John, let me ask you this then, John.
Talk to me.
Where does the lightweight division go? Where does the lightweight division go? If Dustin wins, he fights, obviously, Charles Oliveira. If Conor wins, then what?
Oh, if Conor wins, You know who he's going to fight. I mean, you're talking about Dustin?
Yeah, Conor and Dustin are fighting.
Yeah, if Conor wins,
Dustin wins, who does Dustin? Who does Conor fight? Does Conor take the Oliveira fight? I don't think he does.
Oh,
he rides off into the sunset.
No. Nope. He may not, fight Oliveira. He may, say I'm going to go up and do things, but he's going to want. Look, it comes down to this. You keep on asking. I don't know. I don't understand why he's fighting. He's fighting because it's a drug he can't get anywhere else. He loves that drug. That walk, the feeling of it, the standing in the cage, the announcement, all of it. He loves it. It lights a fire under his ass. And he can't get that as soon as he walks away. So that's the reason he keeps on fighting.
I don't think he fights Charles Oliveira, though. If he wins, I don't think he fights for the title. I think I don't even know if the UFC would really want him to, knowing that he probably won't be active as a champion. So like they want him, I think, to keep fighting, but they don't care if it's the title or not, because then he's not as active, and the title will be held up for a little bit. I think Dustin, obviously, if he wins, he ends up fighting Charles right off the bat to get that title. But then, like I said, where does it put, if Conor does win and he doesn't fight for the title, where does that put the division? You've got Charles at the top, and then you've got who else now down below? Gaethje's coming off of a loss. Chandler now coming off of a loss. Tony's coming off of a loss. Maybe Dariush. Dariush is going to jump.
Dariush is going to jump. Yes, is going to go up.
Yeah, I don't know who else is there. Who else is in that bracket there?
No, I'm sorry. Kies is in 70s. I don't know what I'm saying.
70 now, yeah. So Ferguson's going to drop. Then you have Conor, and you got Dos Anjos. I mean,
no one wants to fight Islam.
Nobody wants to fight Islam. Got matched up, though. They gave him a matchup. I don't know who he is. But it's a guy who's not, I don't think he's in the top 15 either. Yeah.
There was a, here,
Thiago Moses.
I'm going, Thiago. It's a good fight. I'm going off of Twitter. I had someone asking the whole thing about the Jordan Wright elbows, and those are 12-6. People, I don't know what clocks you look at. All right, 12-6 is only up to down, not straight across horizontal. It's vertical. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. If you can't understand that, stop watching the sport. I don't know what to tell you. But that's not an illegal elbow that Jordan Wright was throwing. It was legal. Yeah. People are crazy.
Well, John, we both know that there's no difference between a 12-6 elbow and the one that they're probably complaining about. It's the same damn elbow. But the thing is, like you had talked about when you were talking about in the rules back in the day when they were talking about the 12-6 and you and Lorenzo were there and you were fussing about, there's no difference. And Lorenzo turned to you and said, John,
let it go.
Let it go. Let them have this one thing. And you're like, okay, I get it. So, they don't understand. It's like, we get it. It's this, we all understand it's the same exact damn elbow. If I do it this way, or this way, as long as it's not doing this from 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock, that's the only thing.
It's legal.
It's legal.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
At least you understand it, Josh. That makes me feel so much better.
Yeah. Majority of the time I don't understand.
Yeah.
All right, what you got for us? We'll do two fan questions.
Okay. Noah Macaluso asks your favorite meal after weigh-ins, favorite cheat meals.
I never really had a favorite cheat meal because I had a nutritionist, and the nutritionist always had me on the same. I had to eat the same shit. You don't change what you're gonna eat after you make weight because you still have to perform the next night. So you don't change anything that's out of your routine, just because you made weight. You don't do that. Other than that, you drink a little bit of Pedialyte. I don't drink that during camp. I just drank it only after weigh-ins, mixed in with some other stuff. That would be the only thing. As far as my cheat meals go, I mean, to me, my cheat meals were always like either a big fat steak or, a big ass, a nice, pork chop, on a double pork chop on a bone, like just anything like that. Those were my cheat with some sweet potatoes, with maybe some sweet potatoes with a little bit of marshmallows on them.
Dude, your cheat meals suck.
I know those are my cheat meals. I'm not a big. I used when I was a kid. I used to like a lot of sweets, but I don't like them anymore really now. Like that's not big to me. My cheat dessert would be like a creme brulee with a little bit of fruit on there. Like that's it, man. I'm pretty simple when it comes to that stuff.
Why are you putting fruit on it? You're trying to make it healthy.
No, it's good.
My cheat meal, easy. My daughter's street tacos. She makes the greatest tacos you've ever had. So that's my cheat meal.
Corn or
Love
flour?
'em.
Yes.
Corn.
Corn. Good. That's why they're called street tacos, by the way.
That's right.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
You're welcome. You from Scotland? They even have street tacos there?
No.
No. All right, what else you got for us, Dave?
Sam Sung asks, question to John, because Josh is a homer. Which is more impressive, Khabib's 50-43 against Al or Holloway's 50-43 against KR? Hashtag and still.
I would honestly say that Holloway's 50-43 against Cater is more impressive based upon the way that he did that against a really good striker in Calvin, putting on that kind of striking performance and getting a 50-43 in that is just remarkable in my opinion. That was one of the best performances I had ever seen in MMA as far as a single fighter. That Max Holloway, I said that if that Max Holloway fights anyone, in the 145-pound division, I'm not going to go outside of that, but he wins the fight.
Yeah.
That was how impressive his performance against Calvin Kattar was. So,
all right, so I know the question was for you, but I'm going to chime in here, of course. I am going to show a little homerness here, but but I am not. I am not going to. I am gonna, but I'm not gonna. It is to me that the Max Holloway for sure was the better performance. Yeah. But I want to put everything in perspective for you guys with the Al Iaquinta fight. The Al fight, remember that was where Khabib had 4 different opponents that whole week or 3.
He had a new opponent the day before.
Yeah, exactly. So it was like it just kept changing. Though it was supposed to be one person. That it was supposed to be Anthony Pettis, correct?
It was supposed to be first Max Holloway.
Yep. Then
Anthony Pettis, and then it was Al Iaquinta.
So then he and his original opponent was Tony. So then all these fights they all fell off like within a week. Within that week, it was supposed to be this person, it's supposed to be that person. Then he got Al the day of the fight, basically, or the night before. Yeah. And so when I put it into perspective, that's pretty impressive, knowing that this guy that you were fighting was nothing like the guy you were supposed to fight, the original guy you were supposed to fight. Shorter, stockier, better takedown defense, all of these things. That's what was impressive to me about it. So, but I'm still going to lean with the actual overall performance was Max Holloway because it looks so beautiful, but I put into perspective all the things that Khabib had to deal with that week and still went out there and pitched a shutout. I thought that was pretty damn impressive.
It is.
They're both equally impressive, just one because of the actual fight itself versus the other one with all the emotional baggage that came along with it. I thought was both equally impressive. All right, guys. Well, that's everything. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button there on the YouTube. Also in SoundCloud, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, all of our audio platforms. Hit the subscribe button there as well. We're trying to get our audio platforms up and listening. So if you guys can, I've actually had a couple of people reach out to me saying, hey, I'm listening to you guys at work now on the audio platforms because I don't want to get in trouble for watching on YouTube. I was like, all right, well, cool. So I want to thank you guys. And like I said, with traffic now picking back up, keep your eyes on the road. Don't watch us on YouTube as much. If you guys are driving, please, drive safe and listen to us on the audio platform. So subscribe everywhere you can. Hit the little bell off to the bottom right. That'll give you the notifications on when we drop our show. So normally we drop really early on Sunday, but then on our Wednesday drops, sometimes it changes from 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. If you want to be one of the first in the comment section to say first, that means you should turn that notification bell on. Everything else, prowrestlingtees.com/WayneIn. Use the promo code and still. We got a really nice new Memorial Day shirt up there that Podcast Dave here designed himself. I like to tip my hat to him after I yelled at him before you guys got on air today. But this was actually a really, really good design. I love it. He has the American flag on there with the Memorial Day over, and it's got the Wayne in arms, along with a big thank you on there as well.
Like that one.
Good job, Dave. Good job. So make sure you guys pick it up. You get the promo, you get 20% off with the promo code and still. Other than that, John, take it away.
Other than that, just want to say, you know what? It was a really good show. I did not mind actually spending the $71 it cost me for my UFC tonight. I thought overall all the fighters really performed well. Some really good fights. Really feel bad again for Jacare. I'm sorry that your arm broke, man. I'm sorry that happened to you. But for everyone else out there, I hope you have a beautiful Sunday as you listen to our podcast, and we will see you